Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and awesome news for those of you who like Game of Thrones. The Seven Kingdoms mod has its public release now available. So this is alpha state. Previously YouTubers had access, and so you may have seen videos online, but now finally it's moved into alpha and people have access to it. So it features 8 different factions with 17 armies represented in it. Once you open up the game, it's got an awesome title here with the wall in the background. And it's basically just for custom battles. I don't think they intend to do anything on the campaign later. So basically you're going to be fighting against the AI or other players just through custom battles and multiplayer. So Dorne, Iron Islands, the North, the Reach, and all that. So each of them has their own set of heroes. Some of them have a lot of heroes and generals. And you have bannermen from different factions. So if you're looking just at the north, you see a real breakdown between different forces. For the Reach, Tyrell, and other forces, and then it's kind of cool, the different houses, and then each house has its own emblems kind of painted, not only in the unit cards, but also on the flags and shields of the units themselves, which is awesome. But one of the things that you will notice is, yeah, the units kind of look different, but they all perform functionally essentially the same thing. We'll be going through the different units here soon in a battle itself, or at least in the battle map. I just wanted to show you that, hey, this doesn't really affect anything having to do with the campaign. So back to custom battles. So yeah, just custom battles is where you're going to be doing this. So let's take a look at the heroes. They look freaking awesome. I don't know what the process was to port them over, but the models look just like the characters from the movie themselves. So we're going to start with Dorne. And basically the way it works with Martell and all the other factions is that you're going to have light, medium, and heavy troops, and it's going to be light, medium, heavy of archers, swordsmen, and spears. And it's going to be repeated throughout the different factions. You don't have anything too different. Same thing with cavalry, it's going to be light and heavy. And actually each faction, I think all of them have access to one crossbowman unit, a longbowman unit, and then they have, yeah, the other various swords and spears. So notice here how the shields are all unique, the banners are all unique. The factions definitely have their flavor visually, but my main gripe with this is they don't really stand out too much. So hopefully come after the beta we'll be seeing a bit more of that. I was also hoping that we would see more than just a name of horse archers or, you know, medium swordsmen. I was hoping to see a bit more in terms of diversity, or diving into the lore to pick out specific names would be cool. But in any case, let's go ahead and just keep covering the different factions. So Yara Greyjoy you saw there, and then obviously the custom shield. So this represents hours and hours of work to get all the unit models in, and obviously this is straight up from the films, and obviously inspired from the books themselves. But the costumes, I assume, had a lot of research from the movies, and I'm really glad they were able to pick that out and make it ported over. The Greyjoys do have a little bit of differentiation from their peers. You'll notice that they don't have cavalry. And yeah, so that's kind of a big deal. I was hoping they'd have something cooler to make up for it, maybe some axemen or other raider type units, although here they do have units called light raiders, but I don't think it's anything special compared to a typical swordsman. And then, yeah, here we're moving up to the high tier. What you'll notice though is that every one of these units has very poor armor and low health if you look at the stats, which we'll discuss later. But take a look at Ramsay here. Super crazy looking at this guy, having him stare at you. You just want to, he's got that punchable face even in the game. The weapons are pretty freaking crazy as well. And then here I was just testing out the different unit formations to see if we could get anything kind of like the Battle of the Bastards type deal going on. But the Bolton shields, just like you'd expect them, the banners flying high as well. They're cavalry. But what I was saying about everything having low health and armor, it does pose some gameplay problems in the sense that archers end up doing a lot of damage. Yeah, take a look at the spear unit. That's very familiar of the Battle of the Bastards. I don't want to spoil anything for those of you who are perhaps not caught up, but yeah, those of you who have seen that scene are going to be familiar with these armies from the Boltons taking the field here. The next faction that we'll be hopping on over is going to be kind of the north, and so Small John Umber from House Umber here, and then Robb Stark mounted on a horse, again looking awesome, and then even Jon Snow making an appearance, and then the Stark wolf on the shields, And then again, all the kind of similar type units, longbowmen, crossbowmen, light, medium, heavy spears, all that. Yeah, again, as I've said, it's all kind of the same unit type, but when you get up close, the unit models look freaking awesome. And the officer there is kind of out of his class. He looks like a little young kid next to a bunch of grizzled old men. Looking freaking cool. And I do like how they're all holding up their own custom banners. That was a nice addition in the mod. I'm glad to see that made an appearance. The Starks do have pikemen as well. This is something that I didn't see necessarily all factions having access to. Dorne definitely didn't have it. Greyjoys didn't have it. So there's a little bit of differentiation. The Starks do have access to kind of the same light cav and some heavy cav as everyone else. And then they do have a couple other bannerman forces. I just decided to bring House Mormont here just to show off the Shields House, Umber, and then Karstark as well. And these guys look a little bit creepy. I mean, they look like monks in armor. This guy looks like he's seen some shit or was woken up in the early morning for this demo. And then House Glover has a couple units, but they also look pretty fearsome. The bald fist there as their emblem. Pretty gnarly stuff. And it's cool when you fight as these factions, you can bring bannermen from different sub-houses as an army of the north, which is cool for lore reasons. Mace Tyrell here, he's goofy in the TV show and just looks just as goofy here on the battlefield, just as out of place. And then some of their units, the unit cards made it look like they were more, like plate covered and all that, and definitely they look cool up close. But again, take a look at the stats, very low health, very low armor. They also have their own spears, which combined with the awesome armor that these guys are boasting looks almost like it should be the most powerful thing in the world. Stats wise though, I think it does deserve some testing to be conclusive one way or another. And then yeah, they also have their fair share of cavalry. And then they have another unit here, the Tarleys, who can come to, they're kind of another type of bannerman force. A sub or a house within the overall faction that can help the Tyrells. Sweet. Edmure Tully, and he has again his own bannerman. Jonas Bracken with House Bracken with their own shields, and then the next one that's going to be coming to the field is going to be Walder Frey from House Grey. He looks spot on for sure. So you'll be able to recognize almost all these characters, not only from the unit cards, but also the models themselves. I don't know what process they use, but it's definitely very, very impressive. Now, House Arryn, so Jon Royce here, in the glittering armor, and the rounded shields of House Arryn with the eagle there and the moon. And I do wish, again, that the armor represented something a bit better in the stats. It may be, but I just haven't dove into the stats. And then Tywin Lannister, god, the Lannisters I saved for last because they just look glorious. The models, look at the shoulder pauldrons, all the armor looks great. Jaime Lannister looking awesome, and I had to give him a 360 look. And then we're gonna go ahead and take a look at all the other soldiers that will join House Lannister, almost looking like gold cloaks. Their armor is super awesome, intimidating, representing the wealth and the richness of House Lannister. And they have their javelins and the other cookie cutter unit. Nothing unique for House Lannister. The models just look awesome. And always a bit formidable. Yeah, they look so cool. Hopefully when we move from beta into full release, there'll be a bit more variety in terms of the helmets. That's something that you see kind of repeated to all the units here. I was hoping to see a bit more, especially for difference between low and high tier. You'd think they have a bit more of a difference. And then maybe some more unit officer models here, because this is the same one we saw for the Starks. And he definitely looks like a little young blood compared to the other soldiers around him. So yeah, definitely still some work to be done. To differentiate the units, perhaps some renaming, perhaps some stat differentiation, perhaps some unique units as well. And yeah, some cool stuff besides that. I also wasn't showing off any of the artillery. Everyone does have access to a piece of just the light catapults. Nothing special outside of that. So that is it for the different units that we've been covering here, finishing off with House Lannister, as always. Paying their debts, and then yeah, that's about it. So definitely go ahead and check out the mod itself, where you can download this public alpha, give them support, vote for Mod of the Year contest if you want to. I will also be following up this video with my own siege, where I do the King of the North defending against 3 armies descending on them, so stay tuned for that. Peace out.